The room was quiet, the kind of quiet that hums right before something unforgettable. Their eyes met, holding on just a moment too long. The air shifted. Then, without a word, he reached out, fingers brushing her cheek, tracing down her jaw like he was memorizing it. Her breath caught. The space between them vanished. Their lips met softly at first, a question, then all at once, a wildfire. It was heat and heartbeat, breath and surrender the world outside, dissolving until there was only skin, warmth, and the sound of two souls finding rhythm in chaos. His hands moved with the careful desperation of someone afraid to wake up from a dream. Her fingers found the back of his neck, drawing him closer still, and time slowed to the pulse that lived between them. Around them, the city lights shimmered against the rain-soaked glass, golden, trembling, as if Seoul itself had stopped to breathe. Every heartbeat echoed in the hush. Every sigh became its own confession. For that one night, nothing existed beyond that room. Not the storm, not the world, only them. Before we dive into their story, dear besties, subscribe, like, and share. Because some stories don't begin with hello, they begin with a kiss you can't forget. The rain came softly at first, whispering against the glass, like the world was trying to wake them up. But neither of them moved. Sophie stood by the window, wrapped in white linen, her silhouette caught between the gold of the room and the silver glow of the storm outside. Behind her, Minjae lay still, shirt half open, eyes half lost in the memory of her touch. The air was heavy with the scent of rain and regret, from the curve of her shoulder, down to her reflection in the window, her breath fogging the glass. In that mist, their faces almost met again, ghost-like. It's strange how silence can be louder than thunder. When two people know this might be the last time they ever see each other. She turns, their eyes meet a quiet goodbye neither of them dares to say. Rain slicks the streets below, lights bending across puddles, taxi lights flickering, strangers rushing under umbrellas. Sophie steps out of the hotel. Each step splashes softly like the city is trying to remember her name. She thought it was just one night, a moment she could walk away from. But fate has a longer memory than the heart. Minjae, now at the window, watching her disappear into the storm, his reflection merging with the rain, as if Seoul itself is swallowing their secret. 5 years? That's how long it took for the rain to stop echoing in her dreams. Sophie's world had changed, new city, new name, 2 tiny hearts that called her mom. Yet every time thunder rolled, she still felt the warmth of that night like a ghost on her skin. Small cafe on a quiet Seoul side street, steam curls from coffee cups, morning sunlight painting soft stripes across the floor. Sophie wipes a table, humming softly while her twins giggle in the corner over a coloring book. It's ordinary, safe, almost happy. A man in a charcoal suit enters, not Minjae, but close enough to twist her stomach. He sets a black envelope on the counter. For Miss Adele, he says the name she's been hiding behind. Before she can answer, he's gone. Her hands tremble as she breaks the wax seal. Inside, a single card, black with silver ink. No words. Just an emblem, a dragon coiled around a crown. The symbol of the Jang family. The empire she swore she'd never touch again. Wind sweeps through the street. The sign above the cafe creaks. The twins look up, sensing her stillness. Sophie slips the card into her pocket, forcing a smile. But the camera catches her reflection in the window, eyes wide, heartbeat visible. You can outrun love. You can bury it under time, new names, new lives. But fate? Fate has your address memorized. Sophie sits on her bed, the envelope open beside her. Rain taps lightly at the window, the same rhythm from 5 years ago. She picks up her phone, hesitates, then types a message she never sends. Why now? Soft lighting, children asleep beside her. She looks at them, then back at the black card, the glow of her phone reflecting in her eyes. Tomorrow, she'll pretend nothing happened. But deep down, she already knows. The past isn't knocking. It's on its way in. The rain came again that night. Almost 5 years to the day. Sophie sat awake long after her twins had fallen asleep. The black card still on her nightstand, a silent threat or a promise. She told herself not to go. But some choices are made long before you're ready to face them. Her reflection in the mirror, eyes steady, heart unsure. She slips the card into her coat pocket. Train station, dawn fog swirling through the platform. Sophie stands beneath the departure board, her breath visible in the cold air. She told herself she was only going to look, just to see. But deep down, She already knew this wasn't goodbye, it was the beginning again. The train roars past, wind whipping her hair across her face. When it clears, her eyes harden with quiet resolve. Luxury district skyscrapers lit like constellations. The camera follows her taxi weaving through Seoul's heart. She steps out before a glass tower. The Jang Group headquarters, its emblem etched above the doors, the same dragon and crown. Inside, the lobby hums with soft jazz and power. A receptionist glances up. "You're expected, Miss Adele." Her stomach tightens. She never told anyone she was coming. Elevator doors open, revealing mirrored walls reflecting her from every angle as if she's walking toward her past in real time. The elevator stops. Ding. Top floor. The doors slide open to a private lounge floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. And there he is. Minyae. 5 years older. Sharper. The calm of a storm that learned patience. He turns slowly, suit immaculate, eyes unreadable until they land on her. Some faces don't age. They just haunt better. For a moment, neither speaks. Only the sound of rain on glass, echoing like it did that night. His lips part slightly, the ghost of a smile or a scar. "You kept my children well." Her breath catches. No one told him. He already knew. Tears tremble in her lashes, not from weakness, but from the flood of everything unsaid. Fate didn't just find her. It remembered her name, her heartbeat, and every lie she tried to forget. He steps closer, slow enough for her to back away, but she doesn't. The camera circles them, city lights swirling in reflection. "Why now, Min-jae?" she whispers. "Because the world's changing," he says softly, "and I can't let it take you from me again." Silence. Close up on their hands, his trembling slightly as he reaches for hers. The distance between them wasn't space anymore. It was everything that had happened in 5 years. And the one night that never really ended. Her eyes close. Their fingers touch barely before thunder rolls outside. Wide shot, the two framed against the skyline, storm flashing behind glass. The screen fades slowly to black. Heartbeat sound returns slow, heavy. When love returns, it never knocks twice. It just walks back in and changes everything all over again. For a long moment, neither of them moved. Just silence, thunder, and the echo of two heartbeats that had once belonged together. Then, Min-jae turned, walking toward the bar in the corner. The sound of glass clinking broke the air like a confession. Over the shoulder shot, Min-jae pours whiskey, gold liquid swirling under soft lamplight. He doesn't look back when he speaks. 5 years, you disappear with my blood, and yet somehow, every deal I make still leads me back to you. Sophie stays by the window. Her hands tighten on her coat. The twins' faces flash across her mind, their laughter, their questions. She'd spent 5 years building peace, and now peace looked at her like it was ready to burn everything down. Min-jae finally turns. His voice softens. "I know about them, Sophie. I've known for a while." Her throat tightens. "Then you know why I stayed away." He walks closer, each step deliberate, slow. Focus on his shoes, then the faint reflection of her in his eyes. "You think distance keeps you safe?" he says quietly. "There are men who'd sell the world to find out what connects you and me. I can't let that happen." Sophie exhales shakily. "So what are you saying? That you want me back to protect your name?" His jaw flexes, not anger, but pain he's trying to hide. "No," he murmurs. "I want you back because I never stopped needing you." Close-up of their faces, tension like static between them. Her eyes flicker with disbelief, but her pulse betrays her. Love was never their problem. Survival was. He takes her hand, not gently, but like a man who's afraid she'll vanish if he lets go. Focus on their joined hands, reflection of city lights rippling over them. "Stay tonight," he says. "Not as a secret, as mine." Sophie freezes. Her voice barely above a whisper. "And what happens when morning comes?" He hesitates. "Then we decide if we fight the world or each other." The rain outside grew heavier, tapping against the glass like the world counting down. She wanted to say no. But every reason to leave was swallowed by the memory of the one night that started it all. His hand brushing her hair aside. Laughter in a hotel hallway. The moment before the kiss 5 years ago. Some memories don't fade. They wait. Sophie steps closer. Their breath mingles again, too close, too familiar. "If I stay," she whispers, "don't promise me forever. Promise me we survive tonight." Min-jae smiles faintly, the kind of smile that breaks a heart and heals it all at once. "Deal." They stand in silence, faces inches apart. Lightning flashes, painting them in silver. Their lips meet again slower this time. Deeper, years of distance melting into one impossible moment. This wasn't the reckless fire of youth. This was the kind that burns quiet, steady, unstoppable. Soft piano plays. The kiss ends, but his forehead rests against hers. Tomorrow, he says, voice rough, you'll meet my family. Her eyes snap open. Your family? You should know who's been watching you all this time. Her stunned expression, camera pans out through the window, showing thunderstorm over the city. And just like that, love turned back into danger. Morning crept over the skyline like a slow confession. The rain had stopped, but its scent lingered damp air, wet stone, and something unspoken. Sophie stirred awake on the edge of the penthouse sofa. The world felt softer, quieter, until she turned and saw him. Minyai. Already dressed? Already watching? You didn't sleep, she said softly. He smiles faintly, eyes unreadable. Old habits. Close-up light glints across his jawline, his cufflinks catching the first rays of morning. The man she remembered had been dangerous because of his power. Now, he was dangerous because of his calm. Minjae steps forward, offering his hand. Get ready, they'll be here soon. Her brows knit together. They? Elevator doors sliding open with a ding. 3 figures enter, suited men and a woman in her 50s, with eyes sharper than a blade. Every move is precise, rehearsed, respectful. The Jang family didn't walk into rooms, they occupied them. The older woman, elegant, cold, gives Sophie one measured look. So, you're the reason my son vanished 5 years ago. Sophie straightens, steady despite the chill running down her spine. I didn't make him vanish. I let him go. Minjae's mother tilts her head. And yet you return with his heirs. Sophie's fingers tighten around the edge of her coat. In another life, this could have been a family breakfast. But this was an interrogation in silk and silence. The eldest uncle speaks, a tall man with gray hair and voice like gravel. Do you understand what it means to be tied to us? The Jang family doesn't forgive, and it never forgets. Minyai steps forward. That's enough. You brought her here, the uncle snaps. Then let her hear what you never told her. Camera dollies slow push toward Sophie's face as confusion flickers to fear. What is he talking about, Minjae? He hesitates. For the first time, his composure fractures. Truth, it always comes late. Minjae turns to her. The night we met wasn't chance. The room stills. You were part of a deal I was meant to destroy. A rival family was using you to get to me. Her face goes pale. So I was bait? Not to me, he says quickly. Never to me. But yes, at first. I was supposed to use you. Her breath catches. Lightning silence. There it was, the cut that hurt more than any bullet. Sophie steps back, eyes glassy but fierce. And when I told you I loved you? That's when everything changed, Minjae says. That's when I stopped being their heir. The mother watches quietly, emotion flickering behind control. You risked the family name for a girl from another world, she says softly. And you do it again. He meets his mother's gaze, no hesitation. Every time. In a family built on fear, love was the loudest rebellion. Close up on Sophie, tears unshed, heart visible. She whispers, You should have told me. Would you have stayed? Her silence is his answer. Soft focus the twins' photo on her phone screen. She looks down at it, torn between love and survival. They're waiting for me, she murmurs. And they'll be safer away from this world. He nods slowly, understanding the choice before she makes it. Then let me at least make sure no one ever touches them. Even in goodbye, he protected her. Even in danger, she was still his peace. Slow motion Sophie walking toward the elevator, light falling over her shoulder. Minjae watches her leave, no music, just silence. The elevator doors close, her reflection fading in glass. Some love stories don't end. They just wait, in the shadows. The family stands behind Minjae's city skyline, glowing cold beyond the window. And in Seoul's quiet dawn, one promise echoed louder than thunder. He would find her again. 2 months later, the city had changed, but the whispers hadn't. Sophie walked fast through the streets of Busan, head low beneath her umbrella, the twins' laughter echoing just ahead of her. Rain gliding off her umbrella, neon lights reflecting on wet pavement, small hands holding hers. 5 years ago, she ran from love. Now, she was running from shadows. The world she'd left behind was finding her again, in glances, in footsteps that stayed too long behind her. A small cafe steam curling from mugs, warmth against cold glass. She sits near the window, watching the twins share cake. Her smile is tired but genuine until a black car glides past, outside, slow and silent. In Seoul, silence meant safety. In Busan, it meant someone was watching. Her phone vibrates. Unknown number. Screen reads, "You should have stayed hidden." The cafe noise fades. Her hand trembles slightly. Sometimes, fate doesn't wait for you to come back. It finds its own way to your door. Rain intensifies outside, heavy, loud, rhythmic like a heartbeat. A man enters the cafe dark suit, no umbrella. He moves toward her table. She rises, shielding the twins behind her instinctively. "Who sent you?" "Jang Min-jae." Her breath catches. Her expression softens with confusion, fear, and something else, hope. "He said, if anything ever happened, I should take you to him." For the first time in months, she heard his name. And suddenly, the rain didn't feel so cold. Night highway, the car slicing through rain under glowing city bridges. Inside, the twins sleep in the back seat. Sophie stares out the window, raindrops streaking like seconds she can't take back. Where is he? He never left Seoul. But things have changed. The Jang family's in a war. The empire he once escaped was calling him back. And somehow, so was she. The car pulls into a gated compound on the edge of the city. Security lights sweep the driveway. The gates open, and there he is. Min-jae, standing in the rain, unarmed, unshaken, like a ghost she never stopped dreaming about. Rain falling around him. The moment she steps out, their eyes meet, and time stills. Some storms don't destroy, they return to finish what love started. He walks to her wet hair clinging to his forehead. Her voice trembles. "You said we'd be safe. You were, until someone inside my family betrayed us." Her eyes widen. "Then we shouldn't be here." "No," he says, stepping closer. "You should have never left." They stand inches apart under the storm, thunder flashing across their faces. He cups her cheek, rain dripping down both their skin. "I swore I'd protect you, Sophie. Even if it means burning everything that bears my name." Love is easy in sunlight, but in rain, it's survival. Twin headlights appear behind them fast, closing in. Min-jae grabs her wrist. Inside. Now. Gunshots crack through the storm. Sophie gasps, clutching her children as they rush through the compound doors. Camera shakes slightly, handheld feel, glass shattering, footsteps pounding, guards shouting. Inside the dimly lit hall, Min-jae slams the door behind them, breathing hard. "They're after the kids," he says. "Why?" "Because they're the only thing that can challenge the Jang bloodline." Her eyes fill with fear and realization. "Your uncle. He knows what they are." Secrets were never meant to stay buried, not in families built on power and lies. He turns to her, voice trembling just slightly. "I won't let them take you. Any of you." Sophie looks at him, rainwater and tears indistinguishable. "Then we end this? Together." Their foreheads touch again the same way they did 5 years ago, only now with war outside the door. Thunder rolls. Music swells, low strings, deep drums. When the storm returns, it doesn't ask for permission. It just reminds you who you were meant to fight for. Wide-shot lightning flashes, illuminating the mansion's silhouette as sirens echo in the distance. 5 years. That's how long Sophie stayed hidden, 5 years of quiet mornings, tiny laughter, and the ocean's whisper carrying her secrets. But no distance, no time, could erase him, the man whose touch still lived in the shadows of her heart. And now, fate had led her back. To Seoul. The city hadn't changed, neon, noise, and endless motion. But for Sophie, it felt different now. Every sound, every streetlight whispered his name. She told herself this move was for the children, better schools, a safer home, a fresh start, but deep down, she knew she was walking straight into the storm she once escaped. Then it happened. The doors opened, and time stopped. His reflection appeared first, sharp suit, colder eyes. She froze, breath caught between disbelief and memory. One glance, and 5 years of silence collapsed into a heartbeat. The message came just before sunset. His name, the one she swore never to see again. "Director Jang requests your presence. Top floor, now." Her hands trembled as the city lights flickered outside, and she realized this wasn't coincidence. Fate had finally come knocking. The top floor felt colder than she remembered, silence wrapped in glass and power. Every step echoed, steady but unsure, the kind that carried both fear and unfinished love. Sophie wasn't ready to see him again, not as the man she left, but as the empire he'd become. He didn't turn when she entered. Just stood there watching the city burn gold beneath the dying sun. The same stillness, the same silence that once undressed her heart. When he finally turned, their eyes collided. 5 years of questions, regret, and unsaid things flooding the space between them. Neither spoke. Words felt too small for the storm inside them. "You disappeared," he said, finally, low, rough, like gravel dragging over fire. "No goodbye. No trace. Not even a name on the birth records." She swallowed, eyes wet but steady. "You weren't supposed to find us." His hand hesitated, then brushed her cheek, just once. The air trembled. So did she. "I looked for you every night," he whispered. "Even when I stopped believing you were real." And for a single breath, the world outside that office disappeared again. The night spread across the city like spilled ink, deep, restless, and full of things unsaid. Sophie hadn't planned to tell him. But secrets have a way of finding light, even in the darkest rooms. She stared at their picture again, two faces that carried his eyes, his quiet. "How do you tell a man like Min Jae that he's already part of you? Twice over?" She returned the next evening. Not as his past, but as his truth. "I wasn't running from you," she said quietly. "I was protecting them." The words hung in the air like thunder before a storm. "Them?" he echoed, the edge in his voice breaking into disbelief. And in that instant he knew. Every sleepless night, every unanswered question, they all pointed to one truth. He lifted the photograph with shaking hands. Two small faces, his face, smiling back. His world, the empire, the walls, the silence, all of it cracked open in a single heartbeat. "They're mine?" he asked, voice barely a whisper. She nodded. And for the first time in 5 years, he looked human again. Blood doesn't always mean loyalty. In Minjae's world, family was a weapon, sharp, cold, and aimed at anyone who dared to love him. But this time, they weren't just fighting for love. They were fighting for their future. "You've disgraced this family," his uncle said, voice sharp as glass. "A foreign woman. Bastard children, you think you can lead the Jang Empire with this shame?" But Min Jae didn't flinch. "Not this time. I'm not asking for permission," he said coldly. "I'm reclaiming what's mine." Meanwhile, Sophie felt the city closing in shadows, watching from corners, whispers on the wind. Protection or surveillance, she couldn't tell anymore. Love had made her a target, and her children, collateral. He fought not for the empire but for them. Every strike was a promise. Every drop of blood, a vow to protect the family he'd been denied. When the storm finally broke, dawn spilled across the city, soft, forgiving, and new. She ran to him, their children close behind. No words, just the truth in their eyes. After all the pain, all the years lost, they had found home again. Some stories aren't about perfect endings. They're about the fight to deserve them. And sometimes, even the coldest hearts can be warmed by the ones they tried to forget. After the war ends, silence feels like a miracle. For the first time in years, Min Jae can breathe not as a Jang heir, not as a Mafia prince, but as a man who finally chose love over blood. The sky turned gold as if the city itself forgave them. Sophie leaned against him, their children laughing in the distance. For once, there was no fear, only the quiet hum of something real. Min Jae placed the Jang family ring on the desk, the same symbol that had chained him for years. "Legacy," he whispered, "means nothing without love to protect it." Weeks later, they opened a small cafe in the heart of the city. No guards, no threats, just the smell of coffee, the sound of laughter, and a promise to start again. As the sun sank behind the skyline, their shadows stretched as one. The world had tried to tear them apart, culture, blood, time, but love built a bridge they could finally walk across together. And if you ever wonder whether one night can change a life, remember them. Because sometimes the wrong place, the wrong time, and the wrong person become everything right.